Hi, math students. This math lesson is about calculating sales tax and tips. Our learning target is to apply what I know about percents to calculate sales tax and tips in everyday life. To begin, let's review and understand the word tax. Tax is an amount of money added to an item for the purpose of making money. Tax is calculated by a certain percentage rate on purchased items. The algorithm that we use is the amount of a purchased item is multiplied by the rate of tax, and then added to find the total cost. Another word that we want to understand is tip. A tip is an added amount of money calculated by a percentage. The math algorithm is the amount of the bill multiplied by the percent of tip, and then added to find the total. There are two different methods that we can use to find the total amount. We will practice both method 1 and method 2. You might want to take a screenshot of this page and just refer to it whenever you need it. It's a great summary of method 1 and method 2. We'll practice method 1 with this problem. We're going to pretend that we're buying a pair of pants, and the pants cost $15, and we are charged 5% tax. There are two steps. Step 1, multiply the percent of tax by the purchased subtotal. We have practiced a variety of ways to find the percent of a number. One is to change our percent to a decimal. So $15 for our pair of pants times 5% written as a decimal, 5/100. And then we multiply. We make sure that we have the same number of digits to the right of that decimal, and we would find that our tax amount equals 75 cents. We could also find our taxed amount by changing our percent to a fraction and multiplying. So 5% is our fraction out of 100. And then we would multiply 75/100 could then be changed to a decimal, since that is how we write currency, 75 cents. But we're not done. We have step 2. We have to add the taxed amount to the purchased amount. We pay $15 for the pair of pants, plus 75 cents of tax, and our total that we would have to pay is $15.75. There is method 2 for solving the same problem. We have the same pair of pants at a cost of $15 and the 5% tax. Step 1 says to add the percent of tax to 100%. We know that we are being charged 5% tax, and we're also paying 100% for that pair of pants. When we add our percents, we have a total of 105%. Then step 2, multiply the total percent by the purchase subtotal. We can convert or change our percent to a decimal, 1 5/100, and then multiply by the cost of the pair of pants. Make sure that you balance your place values, 2 digits to the right of that decimal, 2 digits to the right of the decimal. And you can see that we get the same total as method 1, $15.75. Let's pretend that we are purchasing food at a restaurant and we have a waiter or a waitress who has served us. So in this everyday example, we would want to leave a tip for the server. If our bill has a subtotal of $35 and we want to give a tip of 20%, what is the total amount that we are going to pay the restaurant? Using method 1, we're going to start with step 1. Multiply the percent of tax or tip by the purchased subtotal. We have $35 worth of food, and we want to leave a 20% tip. We can simplify 20 hundredths as 2/10, and then we multiply. We have a total of 3 digits to the right of that decimal. So the amount of tip is $7. And then step 2, add the tip amount to the purchase subtotal. We of course have to pay for our food, $35, plus the tip that we want to give to our server, and our total is $42. And that's what we would pay for our bill. We can use method 2 for the same problem. Step 1, add the percent of tip to 100%. We know that we are wanting to leave a 20% tip, plus we have to pay for all of our food. So that's 100%. That gives us a total of 120%. Our food cost is $35 times 120% changed to a decimal is 1 2/10, and then we multiply. We have 1 digit in the tenths place. We have 1 digit there in the tenths place, and we know where to put our decimal. Since we're dealing with money, currency, we're going to have 2 zeros to represent our cents. And our total is the same as when we use method 1. $42 is our total bill. Your turn to calculate the total amount. I've given you 2 everyday problems. You can use either method 1 or method 2. That's your choice. Pause the video now and give it your best effort, and then press play and we will go through the problems together. Pretending we want to buy a book that costs $7.50, we're going to figure out the total amount if we have a 5% tax. If you used method 1, you would find 5% of $7.50. Our book cost times 5% written as a decimal, 5 hundredths. And then we multiply. You have 4 digits to the right of your decimal, so make sure you have 4 digits to the right of the decimal in your answer. And it looks like our tax is about 38 cents. Now we add the cost of our book to the cost of tax, and we get a total of $7.88. And remember your dollar sign. You may have used method 2. We're paying for 100% of the book plus 5% of tax. That gives us a total of 105%. We're going to find 105% of the cost of that book. $7.50 times 105% written as a decimal is 1 5 hundredths. And then we multiply. We have 4 digits to the right of our decimal, so we're going to make sure we have 4 digits to the right of the decimal. The cost of that book is $7.88. Next problem, we're going to a restaurant, and our bill subtotal is $23, and we want to leave a 15% tip for our server. What would be our total amount? If you use method 1, we're going to find 15% of our total. Our food costs $23, and we want to find 15%, 15 hundredths written as a decimal, and multiply. We have 4 digits to the right of that decimal, so we'll make sure we have 4 digits to the right of the decimal in our answer. Looks like our tip that we want to leave is $3.45. To find the total amount, we're going to take the food cost at $23, add our 15% tip that we want to give to our server, and add. Okay, put in your dollar sign. Our total bill is $26.45. You may have used method 2. We need to pay 100% of our food, plus we want to leave a 15% tip. That gives us a total of 115%. Written as a decimal, that is 1 1500ths. And then we're going to multiply by the $23, which is the cost of our food. And now multiply. We have 2 digits to the right of that decimal, so we need 2 digits to the right of the decimal in our answer. Add your dollar sign, $26.45. You're going to get the same answer no matter which method you use.